Good morning, everybody. Excited to be here with y'all today. Again, working through the series that I'm kind of doing of really helping you navigate the job search. So let's talk about recruiters, right? So recruiters, there's two types of recruiters. There's internal recruiters, there's your agency recruiters, right? And then there's kind of your like freelance recruiters. I still consider those agency because they work with a lot of people. So mainly there's internal and there's agency. The internal recruiters are recruiters that work directly for the company. So when you have a recruiter reach out to you from Google, or a recruiter reach out to you from Datadog, or a recruiter reach out to you from a company, that is an internal recruiter. Those recruiters are tasked usually to recruit all the positions within the organization. If they are a larger organization, they usually have silos. The agency recruiter side of things is a lot like Ronstadt, where you work with a lot of different clients. Think of Mad Men, right? Back in the day, agency, working with a bunch of different people. And I do believe there's tactics for both. And so I want to get into those today. First off, you have to remember that internal recruiters, they don't just recruit. They are caught up in a lot of kind of HR administrative tasks, or they can be. And so they are spread very thin. The reason why agency recruiters are tapped on to help is usually when the internal recruiters do not have the bandwidth and or have hit capacity and or have done all the search that they could do. They're spread really thin. If I were you in your search, if you have a set 5 to 10 companies you want to work for, I would try to make friends with the internal recruiters. And I would not be against, hey, let me buy you a virtual coffee. Would love to have coffee with you, learn about the culture of the organization. I'm not against sending them cookies. Listen, here's the deal, right? You want to cut through the noise in the job search? Send them a Starbucks gift card. If somebody were to be like, hey, Taylor, would love to pick your brain. What's your favorite coffee shop in Nashville? Would love to send you a gift card. I would absolutely chat with you because of that. Some may call that bribery. I just call it playing the game. So what I would do if I were on the job search, I would figure out the 5 to 10 companies I really want to work for and try to make relationships with the recruiters. The recruiters are kind of the initial sifting that happens to get your resume through. Back when the internet didn't exist, you'd have to call into the front desk to get transferred to hiring managers. And so for me, that's kind of what internal recruiters are. And I was talking to my old manager at Vaco, and basically I was like, so how did you navigate that? He goes, we would butter them up, bribe them. Now we deal with internal recruiters virtually. So what I would do is I would follow all of them, connect with all of them on LinkedIn, engage with their posts. For the most part, a lot of recruiters now are posting. So if you can engage with them consistently, like their stuff, comment, like I think you need to like engage a few times or ask a few thoughtful questions like over the course of a few weeks before you go for the ask. Now let's talk about agency recruiters. Agency recruiters are a dime a dozen. There are a ton of us out there. So what I would do is I would find recruiters who are active on LinkedIn and connect with them and start following along and see what they post about. What I would do is I would find recruiters posting about the type of positions you want to land. Now, agency recruiters are terribly, terribly busy. Most of them will not talk to you unless you are a fit for the role. Now, if a recruiter doesn't want to talk to you because you're not a fit for the role, the recruiters get a bad reputation for the most part because agency recruiters only want to help the people that are a direct fit for the role. That's why I'm so passionate about what we're doing at Torque. On average, if you talk with an agency recruiter, they are talking to anywhere between 10 to 15 net new people a week. And the numbers shake out to about 1 out of every 10 to 15 people they talk to is a fit for a job. So what are you doing with the other 14 people? That's where Torque comes in with Ronstadt. We make sure we engage and take care of the 14 people that aren't a fit for a job. That being said, there's a few ways to use internal recruiters. First off, when you talk with a recruiter. So let's say an agency recruiter does take a phone call with you, and let's say they do not have a role for you right away. Here's a few ways to get real good information from them. Here's what I would ask. A, where does my resume or skill set line up with the people that you see in my industry or in my area? So let's say you're a 3-year Java developer. Be like, hey, Taylor, based off the other 3 to 5 year resumes that you've seen for Java engineers, where does mine stack up? Where am I missing? What am I missing? That's the first question. Second question, I would ask them, hey, if there's one piece of advice that you can give me for my resume and or LinkedIn, what would it be? Agency recruiters are the best when it comes to writing resumes and creating LinkedIns because they look at those things every single freaking day. And so they are the ones that have a very, very good understanding of what a resume or LinkedIn should look like. So I would ask them, what is one thing I should improve on in my resume? What's one thing I should improve on my LinkedIn? The third thing you should ask them, what does it look like from a salary perspective? Where do do I stack up? Am I asking for too much? Am I asking for too little? The fourth question is, what is a good follow-up cadence for you? I have my thoughts. I'll get to that in a second, but I would ask them, hey, listen, how should I follow up with you? Do you want me to email you every month, every 2 weeks? What does it look like just to keep me top of mind? The game that you need to play with agency recruiters, I mean, I would argue it's the entire job search, but the game that you need to play with agency recruiters is top of mind. When a recruiter messages you about a job, here is what I would ask recruiters. One, how long have you been recruiting on this role for? What that shows you is, are you the first candidate they talk to, or are you the 100th candidate they've talked to? How long have you been recruiting this role? Two, do you know the name of the hiring manager? Most recruiters, they go on a fishing expedition. What they do is they see a role open on a company's website. They go and they try to quickly source candidates who could be a fit and proactively sell your resume into the role without having a contract in place. My teams never did that, but it happens. It happens a lot. Third thing I would ask is, do you have a contract in place? Which kind of goes to what I just said. Do you have a contract in place? Do you have a written contract? Listen, as long as you know it's a fishing expedition and you're fine with your resume being sent over, there's nothing wrong with that, but you need to know what you're getting yourself into. 4, have you had an intake call about this role? Have you met with the manager and gone over the specifics of this role? And if you have, do you have the notes from the call? Will they get offended? They'll probably, I don't know if they'll get offended, but they'll probably be like, where are you getting these questions from? But again, only use this information when you get a message from recruiters. Those questions, if you just save those and just copy and paste them to the spam that recruiter sends you, 99% of people won't get back to you. That's how much spam is out there. My goal for this episode is to arm you with information for you to be able to cut through the noise of the industry. So there's layers to this. So think of an Oreo. The top layer of the Oreo, the outside is the hiring manager. The cream filling is the account manager. And then the other side is the recruiter. There's some layers here. It's a little bit of a game of telephone tag. I think that's it. This episode is dense when it comes to content and information. I would save this. I would come back to it. I would marinate, take some notes, share this with your network. I think other people need to hear this, see this. I would say probably out of all the things I've done, I would say maybe this may be the most important live that I've done in this series. So hopefully you enjoyed it. Y'all have a great one. If you have any more questions on this topic, jump into the Discord. Jordan's in there. I'm in there. Tag us or just shoot me a DM. Would love to answer them. Y'all have a good one. Peace.